Afghanistan is a beautiful, beautiful country. I dread to think what they think as I go over their compound or their herd of goats at 50 feet, going about my business. But again, you don't think too hard about it, because around the corner there'll be a whole bunch of them wanting to shoot you out of the skies.
When you see tracer coming up at you, or when you see explosions going off near to you, bloody hell, it's scary. Yeah, I can't believe it. Don't start screaming like a girl, to be honest.
These are the men of 27 Squadron from RAF Odium in Hampshire. They're here in Afghanistan at the start of their 8-week deployment.
Please pay particular attention to your service number and also your next of kin details. It's very, very important we get your next of kin details correct.
For the next 2 months, these 26 men will be flying Chinook helicopters in and out of the front line, delivering troops and supplies and evacuating the injured. Right from the start, Squadron leader Ian Diggle is thrown straight in at the deep end.
It's going to put us coming into the objective area from the south and west. I'm the flight commander of this motley crew that we've got out here. I'm the sort of boss. And tonight we have been tasked to go and conduct what they call a RIP, a relief in place of troops and kit out of Sangin. And it's always been fairly hot down there, but the enemy are fairly convinced they want to hold on to that, and we're fairly convinced that we don't want them to. So that place is interesting, and I use the word interesting as a euphemism for quite dangerous. Get your height down early. There's going to be an IR strobe on the compound here.
The small town of Sangin is a notorious Taliban stronghold. For weeks, British forces there have been locked in fierce battles, and the squadron's first mission will be to deliver them ammunition and fresh troops.
4.5-ton load goes next to the compound.
The plan is simple, but dangerous. Ian Diggle's fleet of 3 helicopters will be taking the Taliban by surprise, flying straight into the British base in Sangin under cover of darkness.
Eyes out, guys, back towards the pickup.
As the helicopters come into range of Taliban guns, British troops on the ground must protect them from attack by bombarding the enemy positions with artillery fire.
Yeah, pre-fire's going in, right one. Okay, pre-fire's going in north of the compound.
I'm going to necessarily walk across forward
South,
there.
very close.
Coming down, on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On the ground. Load gone, clear maneuver, moving forward. Clear forward.
The last place you really want to be in a helicopter is just sat there. The Chinook is a big and noisy target that can attract anything to shoot at it. But we don't like to be on the ground for a long time when it's all going a bit banzai around you.
55 seconds.
Come on, come on, come on. 30 seconds, boss. Okay, hurry up. Adam's still on the deck. Oh, yeah, he's posted. Okay, that's it.
Right, make it back, 19%. Right, 95. 90%.
With the Taliban now fully aware of their recent visitors, the bombardment begins again to protect the convoy as it returns home.
Cool heading. Good heading there. In fact, come left slightly now. 10 degrees.
Left, right, right, right. Something's on the ramp. Roger.
Main threat, 3 o'clock now.
Roger. Play off right.
In all. Good work, fellas.
What guys. Peace, peace.
Home, sweet home.
For the next 8 weeks, this is where the squadron will live. An air-conditioned porter cabin between the runway and the sewage works at Kandahar Airfield.
Can we have a sort of exec room in here to start with?
Damp check's fine.
Most of the men have flown countless sorties in Iraq, Bosnia and Afghanistan.
Still some familiar posters there.
It's a lifestyle that pilots like Jockey have had to get used to.
I knew I wanted to be a pilot in the first place when I was a kid, when I was very young, so 12, 13 years old. And I just pursued it all the way through sort of school and university. And I joined the Air Force 7 years ago. I don't really know what we expected to be doing, but it certainly wasn't out here flying these sort of operations.
Sorted.
We get some flowers or some plants.
For 27-year-old Dan Padbury, this tour in particular will have a whole new set of challenges.
I'm a relatively new pilot, relatively baby pilot. I finished training just over a year ago, Just before we came out here, I got my combat ready status, if you like, which means that I can be a captain out here. The responsibility of going out for the first time, being the captain of the aircraft, making all the decisions, I'm looking forward to that, although I think there will be some extra pressure and stress involved as well.
The heavily protected airfield at Kandahar is home to 12,000 multinational troops from a NATO coalition of 37 different countries.
It's quite surreal when you look at the luxuries we have here. It's definitely the Americans, the Canadians that produce that sort of thing for their people. I think if we compared it to what our grandfathers fought in the Second World War or something like that, or even great-grandfathers in the First World War, their sort of version of what a war's like, it would be completely different from sitting out on the veranda drinking a cappuccino at night time and having a slice of pizza.
Few places on Earth have seen as many wars as Afghanistan. It's a land where farmers carry Kalashnikov rifles, and there are daily reports of machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades hidden in the hills, just waiting to be used against a passing aircraft. Each Chinook is armed with 3 high-powered machine guns, and they must always be escorted by an Apache attack helicopter loaded with Hellfire missiles. Despite its rugged beauty, this remains one of the most dangerous places on Earth. The squadron have been summoned by the commander of all British helicopters, Colonel Neil Sexton.
Right, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, settle down, please. Sit up and stand with the back.
The lie of the land has changed slightly. Sangin's got no better, Musakala is out of bounds, now Zad we always get shot.
The American Air Force are about to launch a series of massive air and ground assaults to crush the Taliban in Sangin.
We cannot afford to lose an aircraft here. It would be a strategic disaster, whether it's empty with just your 4 bodies on board, or whether it's full with 25 or 30 people with their Bergens in the back. The loss of an aircraft here would be a disaster.
These will be the biggest air assaults since the war began. In addition to their fleets of up to 24 aircraft, the US Air Force have asked for British Chinooks to join them for the night missions into the Sangin Valley. Squadron leader Ian Diggle is learning that the Americans do things differently. With more aircraft comes a lot more planning.
Now, I appreciate there's not many of us here. Watsy is still down with the Americans now after a 2-hour and 20-minute brief about this job tomorrow night. He's now going through rehearsals. We're only be flying for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, so it's not going to be that bad. But the way this American briefing system goes, you know, we might start briefing in the morning for this.
But this is a dedicated operation with massive amounts of air power, massive amount of ground troops, and there's no doubt in my mind that we will see we'll see a big fireworks show.
The first assault will begin at 1 minute past midnight. Over 1,000 American ground troops will be flown into the remote poppy fields surrounding Sangin. From there, they will enter the town on foot to capture or kill the Taliban fighters who control it.
Remember, everyone that's on this aircraft for a little bit longer, this thing's on the ground, big noisy f***ing target, bright moon tonight, so off, out, away, go to ground, and that's everyone in the aircraft, and get off, get to a safe position, and we haven't got the usual 15 minutes, everyone standing at the ramp about.
Dan will be in the lead UK aircraft, with Jockey just behind him.
For example, the middle of line of sight to that objective is 56 metres.
For some of these American troops, this will be the biggest operation of their careers.
Where are you going?
Actually, I'm not too clear on all that. I'm not good with the names around here and everything.
I've been looking forward to this since I found out that we were going to be doing it. And all the briefings we've had over the last few days have really sort of multiplied that feeling. But there's still a few nerves, but don't want to f*** up, obviously. But no, also time's moving on, so I better get strapped in the front.
Okay, that's the fine.
Okay.
Right, that's, we're up next, boys.
Get our ground, Hawk 6-6, there's a flight on.
Lifting. It's clear above and behind.